Last month, a woman named Dorothy called me. She was 74 years old, she had just driven home a brand new crossover SUV, and she was crying. Not because she was happy, because she realized 1 week after signing that she could barely see over the dashboard, could not figure out how to turn off the lane departure alarm, and that the touchscreen had replaced every single knob and button she had relied on for 40 years of driving. The salesperson had told her it was the perfect car for her lifestyle. Safe, modern, reliable. What he did not tell her, what dealers almost never tell seniors over 70, is that the features marketed as safety upgrades can actually create danger for older drivers. That certain reliability records collapse after 60,000 miles. Today we are going through the data that dealerships hope you never find. We pulled NHTSA government complaint records, consumer reports reliability surveys, and real owner feedback from tens of thousands of seniors, and we found the cars that over 70 drivers are regretting most. Stay until the end, because the last car on this list is one of the best-selling vehicles in America right now. And the complaint data for seniors is something every family needs to hear before anyone over 70 buys one. Before we get into the cars, I want to be clear about something. This is not a list that tells you the best cars on the market. Any dealer can make that list. This is a list of cars that the data says are wrong, specifically for drivers over 70, and that distinction matters enormously, because a car that is perfectly fine for a 45-year-old can be genuinely problematic for someone in their 70s. Reaction times are different, vision is different, the way we process information from a crowded screen is different, and the stakes of a bad car decision are different. We built this list using 4 specific sources. NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, which logs official safety complaints from real owners. Consumer Reports, whose annual survey includes over 300,000 vehicle owners. RepairPal, which tracks real-world annual maintenance costs. And owner community forums, where seniors themselves have documented what goes wrong and when. Every car on this list failed on at least 2 of those 4 measures specifically for senior drivers over 70. Some failed all 4. The goal today is simple: protect you or someone you love from a decision that could cost thousands of dollars, or worse. A car earns a place on this avoid list if it fails in 1 or more of these 5 areas. And I am going to be specific, because vague warnings do not protect anyone. First, complex touchscreen controls with no physical backup. If the only way to adjust the heat, the radio, or the fan speed is through a touchscreen menu, that is a distraction problem. For drivers over 70, taking your eyes off the road to hunt through a screen is not an inconvenience. It is a genuine safety risk. Second, low seat and difficult entry. If you need to drop down into the seat and haul yourself out using the door frame every time, over months and years, that compounds joint strain. For seniors with arthritis, hip replacements, or knee issues, this is not a minor discomfort. Third, reliability that degrades sharply after 60,000 miles. A car can score well on early year surveys and then fall apart in the exact mileage range most seniors are buying used. We look at long-term owner data, not just the first 2 years. Fourth, poor visibility from the driver's seat, thick pillars, low windows, high hood lines. For seniors whose peripheral vision and depth perception has naturally changed, a car's geometry can make safe driving harder than it needs to be. And fifth, disproportionately high repair costs. On a fixed income, a single $2,000 to $4,000 repair bill can be financially devastating. Cars that look affordable to buy but carry expensive repair histories are a specific trap for seniors. 6 cars on this list, starting with number 1. Car number 1 to avoid. The Chevrolet Equinox, 2016 through 2220 with the 1.5-liter turbocharged engine. And I'm going to start with the story that changed my position on this car completely. Robert bought a 2018 Equinox with 41,000 miles. He paid $16,500. He had driven Chevrolets his whole life and trusted the name. By 67,000 miles, the engine was consuming oil between changes at a rate that required him to top it up every 800 miles. His dealer told him this was within normal specification. The repair estimate to address the underlying piston ring issue was $3,200. He sold the car at a loss and moved on. His total cost of ownership over 18 months came to over $21,000 for a car he paid $16,500 for. Robert's story is not unusual for the 2016 to 2020 Equinox with this specific engine. The 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder has a documented history of excessive oil consumption, a problem Chevrolet acknowledged but never fully resolved in these model years. NHTSA received hundreds of complaints specifically about this issue. Consumer Reports flagged the engine as below average for reliability in this generation. For seniors specifically, there is another problem beyond the engine. The Equinox's seat sits relatively low for a crossover, which means getting in and out requires more effort than comparable vehicles in its class. The infotainment system in the 2016 to 2018 models is notoriously unresponsive, and the touchscreen controls heat and fan settings, with no physical backup in many trims. If you see a 2016 to 2020 Equinox at a dealership priced to look like a deal, the price is low for a reason. Avoid the 1.5-liter engine entirely. If you love the Equinox platform, look at the 2.0-liter or the newer 2021 and beyond generation, which addressed most of these issues. Car number 2, the Ford Explorer, 2011 through 2017, with the 2.0-liter EcoBoost engine. And this one is on this list for a reason that goes beyond reliability or cost. It is a safety issue. Margaret bought a 2014 Explorer for her and her husband. They liked the higher ride height and wanted room for grandchildren. Within 8 months, both she and her husband began noticing headaches and fatigue on longer drives. A mechanic friend eventually suggested they test for carbon monoxide inside the cabin. The levels were elevated. The source, a documented issue where exhaust fumes enter through the rear of the vehicle into the passenger compartment through gaps in ceiling. This issue generated over 2,700 NHTSA complaints and prompted a federal investigation. The exhaust intrusion issue in the 2011 to 2017 Explorer is one of the most documented safety complaints in this segment's history. Ford issued a technical service bulletin, but not a formal recall, for certain model years. Over 2,700 complaints were logged with NHTSA. A federal investigation was opened. For seniors who may already have reduced sensitivity to fume odors and may spend longer periods sitting in a vehicle, this is a particularly serious concern. Beyond the fume issue, the 2.0-liter EcoBoost engine has a well-documented history of carbon buildup, cooling system failures, and transmission shudder in this generation. Consumer reports flagged multiple model years as below average for reliability. RepairPal puts average annual repair costs in the $700 to $900 range for this generation, significantly above average. The Explorer has been improved significantly in the 2020 and newer generations. But the 2011 to 2017 vehicles, which fill used car lots right now at prices that look attractive, carry risks that most dealers will not volunteer. If someone in your family is over 70 and looking at this generation of Explorer, please share this video with them first. Car number 3, the Chrysler 200, 2015 through 2017. And this one is on the list for 2 entirely separate reasons, both of which hit seniors over 70 particularly hard. Gerald bought a 2016 Chrysler 200 because it was priced at $9,400 and looked sharp. The salesperson emphasized the interior quality and the fuel economy. What the salesperson did not mention, the 9-speed automatic transmission in this car has one of the worst reliability records of any transmission fitted to an American vehicle in the past decade. Gerald's transmission began slipping at 58,000 miles. The repair quote was $4,100. He could not afford it. The car sat in his driveway for 2 months while his family tried to help him figure out what to do. The 9-speed ZF transmission paired to the Chrysler 200 in these years is the primary reason this car fails so comprehensively. Consumer Reports rated the reliability of the 2015 to 2017 200 as well below average, among the lowest scores for any sedan they surveyed in that period. Owners across the country reported hunting and hesitation during acceleration, harsh gear changes, and in many cases outright transmission failure before 80,000 miles. But there is a second problem that is specifically dangerous for seniors. The gear selector in these cars is a rotary dial on the center console, not a traditional shifter. It is visually similar to a volume knob. In moments of stress or disorientation, seniors have accidentally selected the wrong gear. NHTSA received reports of unintended acceleration and rollaways directly linked to this interface. This is not a hypothetical concern. It happened frequently enough to be documented by federal regulators. The 200 looks like a bargain at $9,000 to $12,000. It is not. Walk away. Car number 4, the Nissan Murano 2015 through 2019. And this one looks like an excellent choice on paper. Premium interior, comfortable ride, good visibility. Which is exactly why it makes this list. Because looks are deceiving and the problem is hidden inside the drivetrain. Patricia drove a Murano for 3 years before it failed. At 71,000 miles, the CVT began slipping under acceleration. What she described as the car hesitating when I needed it most, like pulling into traffic. A Nissan dealer quoted $4,800 to replace the transmission. She had not anticipated this cost. Her fixed retirement income did not have room for it. When she looked into selling the car, she discovered that CVT failure is so commonly known among used car buyers that her vehicle's value had dropped to roughly half of what she had paid just 3 years earlier. The continuously variable transmission, the CVT, is Nissan's standard across much of their lineup in this era, and it is the source of enormous frustration among owners. CVT transmissions in the 2015 to 2019 Murano have a well-documented failure pattern between 60,000 and 90,000 miles. The replacement cost ranges from $3,500 to $5,500. Nissan has extended warranties on these units in some cases, but only under specific conditions and mileage thresholds. For seniors specifically, there is a driving feel problem too. CVT transmissions deliver power differently than traditional automatics. When you press the accelerator, the engine revs up before the car actually accelerates, a sensation called rubber band effect. For drivers accustomed to 30 or 40 years of conventional transmissions, this inconsistency can be disorienting. Several seniors in owner forums describe feeling uncertain about the car's response in traffic situations, which is a serious concern for any driver, let alone one over 70. The Murano's interior is genuinely nice. The problem is what is under the hood. If you love the Murano platform, wait for a 2021 or newer model with an updated drivetrain. Or choose a competing SUV with a conventional automatic. Car number 5. The first-generation Volkswagen Tiguan, 2009 through 2017, and this one is on the list for one reason above all others: the cost of keeping it running. Harold bought a 2014 Tiguan at 52,000 miles for $11,000. He liked the German engineering reputation. In the first 18 months he owned it, he spent $2,700 on repairs, a water pump, a timing chain tensioner, and 2 separate sensor replacements. His mechanic told him that VW parts are expensive and that the dealer network charges premium diagnostic rates even for straightforward issues. Harold's annual transportation cost for that car ran nearly $3,100 when he factored in the repairs alongside insurance and fuel. He is now driving a 2008 Toyota Camry and has spent $312 on maintenance in the same time period. RepairPal puts the average annual maintenance cost for a first-generation Tiguan at $838 a year. That is more than double the Toyota Camry and more than double the Honda CR-V. And that is average, meaning plenty of owners are spending significantly more. European vehicles carry a fundamental structural disadvantage in the American used car market. Parts are imported, labor requires specialist knowledge, and diagnostics demand expensive equipment that not every independent shop has. For a senior on a fixed income who relies on their car and cannot afford surprises, European vehicles in general, and this generation of Tiguan specifically, represent a financial risk that the sticker price never warns you about. A Tiguan at $10,000 with the maintenance costs factored in will cost you more over 3 years than a Toyota at $14,000. Do not let the German badge and the European styling make the math seem better than it is. Car number 6. And this is the one that will generate the most disagreement in the comments. Car number 6. And this is the one that will generate the most disagreement in the comments. The Tesla Model 3 for drivers over 70. Let me be very precise about this. I am not saying Tesla builds a bad car. I am not saying the Model 3 is unsafe. For the right driver, a tech-comfortable younger driver who will learn the system and adapt, it can be an excellent vehicle. What I am saying is this. The Tesla Model 3 was not designed for seniors over 70, and the data bears that out in a specific and important way. Helen and Frank bought a 2021 Tesla Model 3 on their son's recommendation. Their son drives one and loves it. In the first week, Helen called her son 4 times because she could not figure out how to turn on the heated seats. The windshield wiper controls are on the touchscreen, not a stalk. The gear selector is a button on the console, not a shifter. The rear view mirror adjustment is in a menu. When Frank accidentally entered valet mode and could not exit it, they had to have a neighbor's teenager come over to fix it. They sold the car after 6 months. Their son feels terrible about the recommendation. The Tesla Model 3 has no dashboard instrument cluster. All information is on the central touchscreen. It has no physical controls for most functions. Windshield wipers, fan speed, seat heat, steering wheel adjustment, everything is in menus. There is no traditional gear shifter. For a driver who has operated vehicles with consistent physical interfaces for 40 or 50 years, this is not a learning curve. For many seniors over 70, it is a fundamental incompatibility. The American Automobile Association, the AAA, has studied technology adoption among senior drivers specifically. Their research consistently shows that complex screen-dependent interfaces significantly increase cognitive load for drivers over 70, which reduces driving safety. The Tesla Model 3 is the most extreme example of screen-dependent design in any vehicle sold in America today. If someone in your family over 70 is being encouraged to buy a Tesla by a well-meaning son, daughter, or grandchild, please share this video with them. The technology is impressive, the interface is wrong for most drivers of that generation, and the used price of $22,000 to $32,000 is far too much to spend on a car that may not be drivable long-term. Now that you know what to avoid, here are 5 rules that no salesperson will ever give you, but that every person over 70 should have before walking onto a lot. Rule 1. The car must have physical controls for heat, fan, and radio. Non-negotiable. If those 3 things require a touchscreen, walk away. You should be able to adjust your temperature without taking your eyes off the road. Test this in the car before you buy. Turn on the heat, turn up the fan, change the radio station, without looking at the screen. If you cannot do it, the car failed. Rule 2. Sit in the driver's seat and get in and out 3 times before you sign anything. Not once, 3 times. Because once feels different from the 20th time on a cold morning 6 months after purchase. If it feels effortful on the 3rd time in the showroom, it will feel harder every day you own it. Rule 3. Search the NHTSA complaint database before you buy. Go to NHTSA.gov, type in the model and year, and look specifically at the complaint categories. If you see more than 100 complaints on a specific system, engine, transmission, steering, that is a pattern, not a coincidence. This takes 5 minutes, it is free, and it could save you thousands. Rule 4. Ask the dealer for the J.D. Power Dependability Score and the Consumer Reports Owner Satisfaction Score for that specific model year, not the overall brand score, that specific year. Dealers may not have it at hand, but the fact that you ask tells them you are informed, which changes how they treat you. And Rule 5. Bring someone with you, not to make the decision. You are perfectly capable of that. But to ask questions while you are focusing on the car, to remember details you might miss, and to make sure that the conversation in the finance office, which is where most of the real money is made on car deals, has a second set of ears. Let us do a quick recap. 6 cars that seniors over 70 should avoid and why. The Chevrolet Equinox 2016 to 2020 with the 1.5-liter turbo. Documented oil consumption problems, complex infotainment, low entry. The engine issue alone has cost owners thousands they were never warned about. The Ford Explorer 2011 to 2017 with the EcoBoost exhaust fume intrusion into the cabin. Over 2,700 NHTSA complaints. A safety issue, not just a reliability issue. The Chrysler 200 2015 to 2017, one of the worst rated transmissions of its era, and a rotary gear dial that NHTSA linked to unintended rollaways. The Nissan Murano 2015 to 2019, CVT transmission failures between 60,000 and 90,000 miles at replacement costs of $3,500 to $5,500, and a driving feel that disorients drivers used to conventional automatics. The Volkswagen Tiguan first generation, $838 per year in average maintenance costs, more than twice the Toyota or Honda equivalent. For a fixed income, that gap compounds painfully over time. And the Tesla Model 3 for drivers over 70, a remarkable car for the wrong driver. If your family member over 70 cannot operate every critical function of their car without looking at a touchscreen, that car is not safe for them. It is that simple. Which of these 6 surprised you the most? Drop your answer in the comments. And if someone you know is about to buy one of these, please share this video with them before they sign anything. That one share could save them a lot of money, and possibly a lot more than that. And if you want to know what cars over 70 drivers should be buying instead, the ones with the simplest controls, the easiest entry, the lowest maintenance costs, and the best long-term track records, that video is right here. We already made it, and everything in it is backed by the same data we just walked through. A dealership gets paid when you sign. We get nothing either way. The only thing that matters to us is that you drive away in something that takes care of you. See you in the next one.